Cardiac arrest is when the victim is clinically dead. They don't have a pulse and they don't have a heartbeat. It can happen to anyone at any age, at any time. Sudden cardiac arrest can affect as many as 350,000 Americans in 1 year. 90% of those individuals will not survive.
This is an automatic external defibrillator, and commonly called an AED. And basically what it's going to do is when you have a person that's in there's heart attack, cardiac arrest, and sudden cardiac arrest. A heart attack is when the person has chest pains and they're not feeling real well, and of course you'd call 911. And then if nothing is done, in about an hour they collapse of a cardiac arrest. That's where the heart is not beating anymore. That's where this AED would come in contact with. Now with CPR, you can do compressions with a shirt and clothing on. With AED, you have to cut and take the clothes off. And so you turn this on.
This is a training device only. No shock will be delivered.
Listen to the prompts, listen to the instructions on the machine, and it tells
Remove
you what to
clothing
do.
from person's chest.
So the first step was to turn it on. The second step is to cut the clothes off. When you purchase the AED,
Attach pads firmly to person's chest as shown.
so you're going to peel these pads off and actually stick them on in the
Plug-in
class.
connector.
In the class, we actually will stick them on the mannequin. So one goes here, and one goes here. So once again, the first step was turn it on. Second step, cut the clothes off. Third step, put the pads on.
Plug-in connector.
And the last step is going to be
Check connector and pads.
put the connector into the machine.
Analyzing rhythm. Everyone stand clear.
And that's real important to stand clear. Tell everybody to stand clear because some bystander may be touching the victim.
Shock advised.
Like I say, talks to you, tells you what to do.
Everyone stand clear.
With training comes confidence, and with confidence comes competency. So when you know how to do something, repetition is the mother of memory. And so what you want to do is when you do the skill in a classroom, then when it happens in the real world, you can do it. The state of Alabama doesn't require you to have a card, to do CPR, to do chest compressions, and even to use a machine. So if you were by some building or a company that had an AED and you pulled it off the wall and turned it on, it tells you what to do. So even if you're not actually certified, you can still use this device. It's a life-saving tool. It's a life-saving device. It starts about $1,500. Red Cross sells them. And a lot of companies in this area have AEDs, and more than one. So yeah, take a class and get empowered and save a life. That's what the Red Cross is all about.
So the reason that being trained in CPR is essentially important for the everyday person. When you call 911, when you find someone who's in cardiac arrest, you call 911 and you wait for help to arrive. For every minute that passes, their chance of survival drops by 10%. It starts at 10%, so you can see within 10 minutes we have pretty much total loss of function in the brain. So by doing CPR, we're able to get the oxygen flowing to the rest of the body, to the brain, and we're keeping the body viable long enough for help to arrive or for an AED to arrive. When we do a CPR and AED class, we do have AED trainers that go along with that part, so that's always included. AEDs are very, very simple. We like to keep it simple. There's only 2 steps. First step would be to turn it on, and the second step would be just to follow the directions. It will not tell you to do anything that you do not need to do. So very, very simple. They're actually designed for people who have never been trained before, but the training is going to help build those muscle memory and just those motor skills that are going to help save people's lives. So once the AED arrives, we're going to turn it on. It could be either operated by a lid or a push button. The one that we have here is going to be a push button. Once you turn it on, it will go ahead and start talking to you. It'll tell you to clear the chest. Every AED should have a response kit attached to it that will have scissors and other items, pocket mask, which we'll see in a second. You're going to cut the shirt off, and go ahead and you're going to place those pads exactly as they're shown in the photographs on the pads. Once those are placed, the AED will tell you not to touch the patient. It's essentially running an EKG. So if you've ever been to the doctor and they did an EKG, that's all it's doing. It's looking for some specific rhythms that can be shocked. Now, if the AED detects those rhythms, it again will tell you do not touch the patient. It will charge, and it will either tell you to push a button or it will tell you that the shock is about to be delivered. There are a couple different versions of them. If the AED does tell you that there is no shock advised, that does not mean that the patient is alive. You will then continue doing CPR unless you see signs of life. 3 out of 4 cases of cardiac arrest happen in the home. 4 out of 5 happen outside the hospital, so the chances of the lay provider or the everyday person becoming the rescuer are very high in sudden cardiac arrest cases.
Well, I manage our program, sports medicine program that has athletic trainers, and our athletic trainers are covering events all over Madison County. So when we go out and cover some community events that are brought to town in some of the public parks or other local places, we've seen gaps of the facilities that don't have AEDs. Our athletic trainers have AEDs that we carry on us all the time, but when we've gone out, the question has been asked, what happens when a practice or game is going on in that location and we're not there. So that just kind of where it stemmed from, making sure that there's an AED available on just any kind of a practice day or local public event.
Now, you mentioned kind of taking these AEDs to be dropped off at different locations.
Mm-hmm.
How can someone maybe request an AED at their school, or maybe now let me also ask this: do they have to buy one from you guys? Is it provided free? I guess kind of go through the process of acquiring an AED.
Well, we're reaching out to the school systems where we have athletic trainers in Madison City, Madison County, and Huntsville City schools. In all 3 of those systems, we have athletic trainers in their schools. So we already have those relationships built. So we're working through the school system that way to address their needs. We're kind of letting them tell us what their needs are, and let's make sure that it is an actual gap that needs to be filled. We're also working with Huntsville City Parks and Rec, working through the local boards at each park to just identify a need and say, hey, we have an AED. Do you guys need one? If so, let's come look at your space. Let's get a plan together so we can figure out where to put it, who needs to be in charge of it, who needs to notify us when things need to be changed, the battery needs to be checked, pads updated, things like that. Yeah,
Place one of these.
that's part of this project too, and that's really where our staff gets super involved. Is it's not enough just to have the piece of equipment. You got to have somebody there who knows how to use it. An AED is more or less foolproof. If you can turn it on and open the cover, the AED itself will walk you through what to do. But we want to provide the hands-on training at these parks, and we're working through the boards to identify those people who may have needs of CPR training. AED training is included as part of a CPR class, so we're offering that to those park boards as well. To a multitude of people, the more people we have trained, the better off we'll be. For the park boards, the ones that we're providing, that's working with the foundation. That's the reason we're working through them. This money being raised is going to purchase the AEDs, and then we're working individually with the park boards and the school systems to fill gaps and place those. It's at no cost to them.
So, this project is really a community project. And some people may ask, why would you want, most of our work and our mission at Huntsville Hospital Foundation is to fund our hospitals proper. But we're a public hospital system. We were started by the community in 1895. We have been open ever since. Our doors have never closed, and part of our purpose in our community is to serve the bigger community. We identified a gap, and we basically have used our resources to kind of collaborate, act as a convener, and get this project going throughout the community. So our overall goal over 3 years, we projected at the beginning, was $1 million. Governor Ivey came alongside the school systems, which really helped elevate and escalate getting those AEDs into the schools. So that's kind of helped reduce what we will need overall to raise. But we want to make sure that if you are on a ball field, and maybe the concession stand is closed. Maybe that's where the AED is. Maybe you are at your child's school, and again, you're far away from the school proper where the AED is. That there will be an AED within very close range of you. It will be accessible by the people that are there. It will be up to date, the pads will work, the batteries will work, and everyone will be trained. That's our goal, so that we will blanket and cover Madison County. No matter where you are, you'll be able to get one within seconds.
And then talking about kind of the fundraising goal, this is kind of a two-part question.
Okay.
The first part, what's some of the events that you guys are doing to kind of raise that money? And two, I guess if with Governor Ivey's trying to push AEDs in schools,
Yeah.
How is that lowered to your goal?
Yeah. So AEDs cost roughly around $2,000 each. So our goal, again, to be able to do this, we thought we would need that $1 million would cover roughly about 500 AEDs. Again, that goal has been reduced a little bit with Governor Ivey. We are approaching our governmental entities. We are doing some private fundraising. We even have a young man, a Liberty middle school student, who died this time last year from an incident at the school of a heart ailment, and his family is even coming alongside and doing a fundraiser in his memory for his birthday to buy AEDs to go toward this project. So we are collaborating. We're working with the American Heart Association. They're using their fundraising efforts. Huntsville Hospital Foundation is doing the same. So we're in it for the long haul. We want to see this happen. So we're going to take as long as it takes to raise the funds. Now, I think that when you hear AEDs, a lot of times people are they're intimidated by that. You may walk by and see them on the wall and think, oh, I'll never have to use that. But this can be your friend, it can be your family member, it might be your child. And these machines, these equipments are life-saving because they will tell you exactly what to do, whether you're trained for CPR or not. They'll tell you exactly what to do, and if you can get that machine onto someone within the first 6 minutes when something happens, their ability to survive increases exponentially.
Cardiac arrest is when the victim is clinically dead. They don't have a pulse and they don't have a heartbeat. It can happen to anyone at any age, at any time. Sudden cardiac arrest can affect as many as 350,000 Americans in 1 year. 90% of those individuals will not survive.